Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Matchday 9 deadline stream for UCL Fantasy. I've got my team on screen at the minute. We've got just under an hour until the deadline. I've made a couple of changes since the team selection video yesterday, purely based off of Inter Milan's news. With a couple of players looking to be rotated, whether that's DeMarco, Martinez, a couple of them. Some news, unfortunately, that they could be rotated, which does mess up a lot of plans. So I have made a couple of changes. I've taken DeMarco out and put in Bastoni, and then with Martinez, I've decided to go for Dembele, and then I've brought in Weston McKennie as well for Kvaratskhelia. So that's the only changes that's been made in the team. Based on Inter Milan, and yeah, basically the lineups are already out for Juventus and Galatasaray. Osimhen starting if you are looking for Galatasaray players, and for Juventus it looks as though Weston McKennie is playing up front, so that is, for me at least, someone that I want to be going for, because he's done quite well, and I don't mind a little midfielder playing out of position as a forward. So looking pretty decent. Still definitely potential of making some changes. I'm not fully locked in on Bastoni or probably Dembele either just yet, but that's how we are looking for right now. So chat's already moving. We've got 3 questions straight off the bat about Dembele. It looks as though he is going to be fit. So Zarfe, Man Like KB, and Hussein. Yeah, it looks as though Dembele is going to be fine. Dewey is the one expected to drop to the bench, and everyone does have Dembele in the starting lineup. How his minutes are going to look, I don't know yet, but hopefully he does end up doing quite well. But that is why I'm not 100% on him. Yeah, I'll maybe look to change that, because taking out those 2 Inter Milan players has made me a little bit more top heavy on Tuesday, which I don't really, I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm now a 9-6 split rather than the 8-7. So maybe Dembele will come out, we'll play a little bit safer, and we'll go for someone playing on Wednesday up front instead. Man Like KB, Kvaratskhelia or Vitinha. I prefer Vitinha personally. Nate, how's it going? Any information about Inter? Nothing really, unfortunately. Fuck Canceros. With them playing on Wednesday, we usually get that information on Wednesday morning, which isn't ideal. What about Alvarez? I'm not the biggest fan based on his recent form. He's not been brilliant. So personally, I would rather go for Lookman, who's looking a little bit better, and if he scores, obviously gets extra points. Does Bastoni start both games? I'll probably need to have another look into it. But I think it looks as though he looks set to start this game, because he only played 45 minutes in Inter's last match. So this game, and then I don't know about next week yet. So yeah, I will have another look into things. Joe, how's it going? Made it home in time. Thanks for the stream. Which 2 differentials would you go for if chasing rank? Ooh. Do you know what I think? Obviously, it seems like a pretty popular one, within the community, but I think McKennie is going to be a big differential with the general, in the general scheme of the game. Maybe not with the lineups now out for Juventus and Galatasaray, but I can't really see him being too highly owned. Who else do I like as a differential? Maybe Thuram for Inter as a forward. I'm kind of interested in him myself, and with the potential of obviously, what's his name, Martinez looking like getting benched, then I think Thuram could be a nice option. What do you think of the back line? Mendes, Hakimi, Ben Sebaini, Chow and Grimaldo. It's basically the exact same as mine. You've got Ben Sebaini instead of, who have I got, Bastoni. So yeah, don't mind that at all. I was pretty tempted by Schlotterbeck, and then obviously he got injured, so he's not in my team, but I think Ben Sebaini's pretty decent. Is Trent worth a punt? Ian, does Giggs has put Trent in? I've not really looked into Trent much. Who are they playing? Benfica? I mean, potentially. I think I doubt that Real Madrid keep a clean sheet this week. But if you want to go for Trent for the attacking the attacking threat, then I don't mind it. Dark Peril, it looks as though DeMarco, the rumours are that he's going to be rotated. It looks as though Inter are focusing on the league this season. So yeah, it's not ideal, but yeah, it looks as though that is the idea for Inter. Bastoni over a Juventus defender. I don't think Juventus are keeping a clean sheet either, especially this week. Maybe next week when Juventus are at home, but Juventus have never been a reliable defence. And Galatasaray, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they won the match against Juventus tonight, to be honest. McKennie or Lookman? I'd probably go McKennie. It depends how your split's looking for Tuesday, Wednesday. I've kind of only got Lookman in here because he does play on Wednesday. If he was a Tuesday player, he probably wouldn't be in the squad. Will it be Grassi or Bensabene on penalties? It's so hit or miss with Dortmund, unfortunately. It really could be any of them. Len Wilport, we do get free transfers after the playoffs, yes. So we have this round where we got unlimited, and then it's 2 transfers before the second leg, and then it is unlimited again. Do I think Lautaro plays? I don't, unfortunately. It looks as though from what I've been seeing today, he could be rested. Will Bastoni play? He should play this week, yeah. And this week it looks like he's basically, nailed on. Next week I think it's going to be a little bit more of a, an iffy, because obviously Inter seem to rotate all over the place. Thoughts on Gelson Martins? I think if I was going to take a punt on any Olympiacos player, he probably would be the guy that I would go for. I had DeMarco too, but changed it to Hanko. With all of those changes Inter's making, they might concede a goal. Fair. Hanko's not a bad shout either. Vitinha versus Kvaratskhelia, a close one. For me, I think Vitinha is always going to be my #1 attacker for PSG, purely because of the amount of routes to points he's got. So for me, it's more Kvaratskhelia versus Dembele, in which I do have Dembele because he can obviously take the penalties, and he's kind of got, I feel like he's got the higher ceiling just by being a better player. But yeah, I think that is quite close between them, and obviously with Dembele's potential, the doubts around him, if he's going to play the full 90 or not. I imagine, with Doué being on the bench, there's a decent chance Dembele comes off for him at some point. Why Chow and not Burn? Chow's got more ball recoveries, and I think he's more nailed on. I know Chow is going to start both matches, whereas Burn, I think, can be a little bit more, hit and miss with starting. Sparta, how's things? I've got 9 players on Tuesday and 6 on Wednesday. You're in the same position as me, Victor. I am going, I would rather have 8-7. I think that evening it out is just a lot. It puts you in a much better position for next week. But remember, you do have 2 transfers next week to kind of sort that. Gurasi and Bensabene or Osimhen and Hall. I probably would go Gurasi and Bensabene there. Why is Sommer all of a sudden not an option from most content creators? Jonathan, I think it definitely is an option. I just prefer the defenders. For me, I probably would have Sommer in there, but I think the Newcastle double up in defence based on the clean sheet odds is what I would rather. So yeah, I'm happy with Pope in there as my goalkeeper, just because he looks a little bit better this week. But Sommer's still a decent enough option. M. Good evening, mate. My last decision is Alvarez versus Valdemade. Any news on Wisa making the long trip? Haven't seen anything new in the last 24 hours. I haven't seen anything either, but I was pretty tempted by Wisa myself. I did see there was some doubts about him. So yeah, I'm not 100%. I probably wouldn't go for Voldemade because I don't know how he's going to get on with minutes. I think if I was picking a Newcastle attacker, it would be Visa. McFred, just so you know, Mendes, Bastoni and Chow are all a yellow away from suspension. I know I'm a little bit worried about that, and that is kind of what's putting... You know, I'm more than happy to keep Chow and Mendes in there. But I think Bastoni is kind of the question mark for me. Why not Trippier? More points per match. I don't know. I'm happy with Chow. He's got very good ball recovery numbers, and I know he plays every week, so I'm fine with that. We've seen him score a few goals as well in the Premier League as well. So. Any worth at Newcastle strikers, and who should I get after Mbappe and Dembele? Well, I've got Garassi in there. I think he would be my ideal option, but there's plenty of strikers I think this week. You've got Garassi, potentially Visa, Thuram I think's really good, a few people with Alvarez, who else am I missing? Osimhen looked quite decent. Visa's still injured? Yeah, that's fine then. Obviously, you can't guarantee even that Voldemade is going to start with Visa injured, because we've seen them both benched at some points with, I think it's Alanga that starts up front. Ryerson or Bastoni? Well, I mean, I'm on Bastoni now, but I think Ryerson's a good option too. Would you rather have Osimhen or Alvarez? I would probably pick Alvarez because I think most of us are struggling for Wednesday players. But that doesn't mean I don't think Osimhen's good. I think if you've got plenty of Wednesday players available, I probably would pick Osimhen. But Wednesday players I think are seeming a little bit like, you know, gems right now based on how few good ones there is. Watching you on vacation from the Philippines. Nice. What time is it in the Philippines? Is it not like 2 AM? Am I right? Yeah, that's about right, isn't it? Best of luck for match tonight as well, Torpedo Runner. I've picked Bremer over Bastoni, but we have the same team. Dembele and Lookman against Kvaratskhelia and Voldemade and Alvarez. Well, you know what my pick is, based on my team. McKennie is up front, yeah. No Cabell or Ben Sabini. Do you know, I'm not against... no, I am actually. I was going to say, I'm not against taking Bastoni out for a Dortmund defender, but Dortmund play on Tuesday. So it's not viable for me, unfortunately. I need to try and keep as many Wednesday players as possible. Any information about Bissek? I don't really think there has been anything, unfortunately, regarding Inter. I can show you the... Let me quickly jump on here. I'll show you what I've seen so far. On this one then. Hold on. This one here. This one here, right. Chivu is reportedly facing several selection dilemmas ahead of tomorrow's clash versus Bodo Glimt. According to Tuttosport, Bastoni will be part of the starting lineup despite recent turmoil. Meanwhile, one of Acerbi and De Vrij will likely return to the starting lineup. Çalhanoğlu was expected to regain his place, but he is still injured. Zielinski and Mkhitaryan set to start. On the left, Carlos Augusto could get the nod ahead of Federico Di Marco, who desperately needs some rest. And in this one, it actually has Lautaro and Esposito might be in attack, but Chivu could also opt for Thuram and Boni, so it's kind of right up in the air with everything there. It looks good for Bastoni, which is ideal, but that's kind of where we're at with that. There's nothing really much else. Based on the fact that Bodo plays at home and how difficult it is to play at their stadium, added to the rotation of Inter, don't you think it'd be a good idea to add a Bodo player? I don't think Bodo aren't going to go out and smash Inter. I just can't see that at all. And then if they blank this week, it's a guaranteed transfer out for next week because you aren't going to want a Bodo Glimt player away to Inter Milan. So personally, I just am going to avoid Bodo completely. I think if I was going to pick any of the unseeded teams playing at home this week, I'd be going for either Olympiacos, Galatasaray, or Dortmund. I think they're just the three teams I'd be looking at. Keepers are pretty mediocre today. Somehow went back to Courtois, but it's not locked by any means. Yeah, I'm just kind of... I just decided to go for the Galatasaray keeper. No real reason behind it. I think I explained that in my team selection video this week as well. Bodo Glimt are well rested. I think they'll score. They'll score for sure. Potentially. It's just a shame that there's so little, good Wednesday games that I feel as though you can't go without at least one Inter player. And none of the good attackers look set to start. So unless I did... The thing is, even Thuram I wouldn't even say is, set to start up front. So, yeah, there's no one good in attack, I think, for Inter unless you chucked something out on, Zielinski, which I really don't think is that great a pick. So the defenders are the only ones, really, that are available. Have DeMarco anyway, even if rotated, so you have him next week and save a transfer. I wouldn't personally. At the end of the day, you've got unlimited transfers and it's only 2 match days that you have to worry about. So I think you've got to try and make the best use of that as possible. If it was maybe 6 game weeks or 6 match days in advance in picking DeMarco, then sure to save yourself a transfer. But it was only 2 match days. You really don't want to be missing out on a player who's not going to start in 50% of that before you get your unlimited transfers again. Bodo at home is a very good team. I 100% agree. I do agree. Which is why I don't have that many Inter players. I would have had DeMarco and Martinez, but with them rotated, I'm kind of just avoiding them a little bit now. Captain today. I've got a captaincy video if you want to head over to the YouTube. If you just jump onto the channel, there's a full captaincy video on there. Isn't Hakimi a minutes risk? I wouldn't say so, no. I think his minutes have been pretty good recently. Adeyemi and Dembele are Guirassy and Kvaratskhelia. Adeyemi isn't predicted to start, so I'd go for Guirassy and Kvaratskhelia. Since Bastoni isn't 100% nailed, do you think Rodney is a good option? Gonzalo, 100%. I think he's a really good... I think he would be... I think I mentioned Gelson Martins, but if you want to go for a defender from Olympiacos, he definitely is a nice one to pick up. I'm still seeing a lot of stuff about DeMarco, guys. He's looks as though he's going to be rested. Four of my defenders are on yellow card watch. I thought it was just 3. Who else am I missing? Is Grimaldo on yellow card watch as well? Mendes, Chow, Bastoni. I don't know who the other one is. I don't get why would Inter rotate. It's something that would make more sense to field the best 11 to secure qualification and rest next week. I did see, like, I was kind of like all like this morning was for me was just looking at Inter and reading through Twitter and seeing what I could find. Most people seem to think that the Italian or winning the Italian league is the priority. So everyone wants to kind of be out the Champions League as soon as possible, is what I kind of got, you know, from reading Inter Milan Twitter. Yeah, so I think the league competitors are AC Milan and Napoli, both of which are out of European competitions, and they've only got 1 game a week. So Inter fans seem very much wanting just to throw the Champions League so that they can go and win the Scudetto. Dembele has a great record against Monaco. I may captain him if it's confirmed that he plays at least 70. I think there's a good chance he plays at least 70. Thoughts on Dan Burn? I like Dan Burn. He's a good option. I just personally prefer Chow. Burn on 2 yellows. I was surprised to review how strong Club Brugge were at home in the Champions League the last 2 seasons. Barca 3 each, Sporting 2-1, Marseille 3-0, Monaco 4-1. I know, I think Brugge are always kind of like dark horses, but did they not take I swear they took a big beating at home as well recently in the Champions League. Plus that was a different manager at the time. The other manager obviously left a couple of months ago. Tam, I do like Thuram as a forward, yeah. I'm tempted by him myself. You can buy Ryerson instead of Bastoni. It's just the fact that Ryerson's playing on Tuesday. I need to try and fit a Wednesday player in here. Captaincy options, Arjun, I've got all on. I've got a full video. It's 10 minutes plus for captaincy options. It's over on the channel if you want to go and give that one a watch. It does look as though DeMarco and Lautaro could be benched, yeah, but we're not going to get confirmation till tomorrow, which is unfortunate. But yeah, it looks as though that could be the case. Don't you think Yildiz is now a better option playing striker? Yildiz looks as though he's still going to be playing as like the left winger. It looks as though it's going to be McKennie that is starting at striker. No worries, Arjun. Ryerson may play centre back with Dortmund's injuries. Well, who have they got? They've got Anton, Ben Sebaini. Have they not got someone? I don't know actually. I think for the goalkeeper as well, I've seen a few people mention Kobel. I think for day one, even for day two as well, like you can see in the top right hand corner how close it is for all the clean sheet odds. So it's really just, you know, picking for vibes at this point. Like there's no good answer. I think Pope for me was like he went straight in based on how much higher the clean sheet odds are for Newcastle. But outside of that, you know, there's no good option at all. So you just got to pick who. You know, you've just got to look at it and think, who do I really think could keep a clean sheet? Who do I think could get a lot of saves? So I just went for Galatasaray. It's kind of just a shot in the dark at that point. Is Hall or Burn over Bastoni viable, or is triple Newcastle defence too much? Inter clean sheet unlikely. To be honest, I think the Newcastle clean sheet is pretty unlikely as well. I'm just basing it off the fact that they've got that 45% clean sheet odds. So I'd like to just try and spread it out as much as possible. I don't want to go all in on, you know, defenders and go all in on teams when really it's kind of just a close week all over. So I do think the triple Newcastle defence is too much. I'm happy with the double up. Why no DeMarco? Because he looks as though he's going to be rested. Obviously we've got no official confirmation, but the Italian news, what's the word? News companies? What is the word? News outlets? All seem to be thinking that DeMarco will get rested tomorrow. Dembele over Alvarez worth the risk. Freddie won't start. Again, the forward lines, it feels very open this week. So if you have any doubts about one of your forwards, there's so many other options to go for. I really need talking out of Tillman for Leverkusen. I'll be honest, I don't actually mind Tillman as an option. At least he plays tomorrow as well, which is good. So there's lots of reasons to pick him up. So yeah, I can't really be the one to talk you out of that because I don't actually mind it. All three of your attackers play today. Don't you need one for tomorrow? I was tempted, but I think tomorrow, if I desperately need to, I can just captain Anthony Gordon. No one else is really, you know, standing out to me all that much. M. Dot, so true. I feel like we talk about it every week. I think he did end up getting a goal and an assist against Barca though, mind you. Nap, yes, Chow is on 4 yellow cards. So is Nuno Mendes. And I think Bastoni might be as well. Prediction for Dortmund Atalanta. Gregorio, I've got that on my Twitter. If you want to jump over to the Twitter page, you can either go type it in or the link is in the description. I've got the Sky Sports Italy prediction for Dortmund Atalanta, which usually tends to be spot on. What do I think of double Newcastle midfield? It's not a bad shout. Depends obviously who it is, because the minutes are always pretty varied with Newcastle. I don't have a Newcastle predicted 11, unfortunately, so it is just going off of, you know, what, you know, previous weeks and stuff. So that's why I've got Gordon in here based on how well he's done in the Champions League. Do I think Thuram or Martinez is more likely to start? I think it'll be Thuram. What about Courtois? You have enough money for it? I just can't see Real keeping a clean sheet this week. Benzabeni, Afonso, he is in the start. He is in the predicted starting 11. How about Zielinski for Lookman? Lookman's kind of just given me that Atletico Madrid cover. I think Zielinski's an okay option. He seems to. I think he probably would be the best midfielder to go for from Inter if you do want one. I just think like Lookman obviously has a much higher ceiling. I don't know if Zielinski's really going to get more than one attack in return, if anything. Everyone's squads look the same. They do. Everyone's squads are going to look the exact same for the next 2 weeks. Like that's an absolute given. Is that my final decision for the game? Honestly, I think so. I think I'm gonna, stick to what I've got right now. I ideally want another Wednesday player in there because I'm looking at a 9-6 split right now, but no one's really calling out to me. So I might just have to rely on transfers for that next week. The only problem is if the likes of Bastoni or Chow do pick up a yellow card, then that is one less Tuesday player again next week, and I could be down to 5. So I could be struggling a bit, which again is kind of what's putting me a wee bit off Bastoni. The only thing is as well, like I would maybe be interested in another Inter Milan defender over Bastoni purely for that yellow card thing. I know Reactions put up a post. There we go. So here's our list of yellow cards. So I've obviously got Nuno Mendes, Ben Sebaini's in there as well. So is Burns. So Chow as well, and Bastoni as well. So yeah, Bastoni, Chow, Mendes, 3 defenders right now. Yeah, I don't really know who I would pick other than Bastoni though. I feel like everyone else is kind of a little bit of a risk. Yeah. It is tough. Not tempted by Alvarez in for Guirassy then. I'm happy with Guirassy. I always end up seeming to get killed by Guirassy anytime I don't have him in the team. So I'm happy enough with him, and I think he's got potential to do well. He's in good form right now, and he's playing at home. So yeah, I'm happy with Guirassy in there. A few people going for Hanko over Bastoni. Let me have a look at Hanko's, because I don't mind that shout, to be honest. I do not mind that shout at all. How's he been? 6 ball recoveries, 6 ball recoveries, 3, a goal, and 2 ball recoveries, 4 ball recoveries, 6 ball recoveries, and assist. Do you know what? It's not actually that bad a shout at all. How's so clean sheet odds 31%, the exact same. I actually don't mind that. These guys have actually got a point. Yeah, only 2 assists this season. I thought he was a little bit more of an attacking threat than that. I feel like Hanko's just going to be, locked in for like a 3 or 4 pointer. It kind of does seem to average around that 2, 4, 3. Obviously he's got 7 when he get a goal, and then 6 when he got an assist. I think, if I put him in this week, he probably gets like 3 points. But at least, I'd be more secure with that. I do not mind that. I'll maybe look into that one. John, how's it going? I wouldn't do Trent over Bastoni because obviously Real Madrid play tonight and I need a Wednesday player. I really like that Atletico rested their full squad. Did they rest their full squad? That is something I'm going to have a look at. Oh wow, yeah, they really did. Yeah, fair. It's not a bad shout at all then. I'm also hoping that Lookman can play more than 70 minutes for a change. I don't understand how for like 2 years straight he's not been able to play 90 minutes. Yeah, he played 120 against Morocco. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna put that transfer in the now because I quite like that. Yeah, you guys have convinced me. Interested in Thuram. I am interested in Thuram, but I don't think I'm gonna change it over the 3 strikers I've got now. I think Thuram would probably be my 4th option now, if I'm honest. Vicky, it looks as though McKennie will be the one playing striker. Yildiz will be playing left wing still. So McKennie, obviously, with him being in my starting 11. Why no Ben Sabini? Is he not on pens? Again, it's more the Tuesday, Wednesday type thing. I've got 3 of my defenders playing on Tuesday. Sorry, 2 of my defenders playing on Tuesday, and I'm not going to get rid of Mendes or Hakimi to bring in Ben Sabini. So that's where I'm at. Pacho and Alvarez over Hanko and Dembele. I'm just not the biggest. I don't want to go for Pacho. I don't want to triple up on the PSG defence. And Alvarez hasn't been in good enough form for me personally. Why not Osimhen? Again, I just prefer Guirassy and Dembele. Why Kikir over Kobel? No real reason. Yeah, it's basically just, a flip of the coin with how close all the clean sheet odds are this week. I am more. It was really just a vibes pick. I think Galatasaray could do well tonight, so I've went for Kikir. If he doesn't, I've got Pope as my backup. And then of course Pastis. It looks as though DeMarco isn't going to be in the team, unfortunately. What do I think about Lewis Hall? I think he looks decent. I just prefer Chow. I probably would go for Dan Burn as well instead of Hall, just for the ball recoveries. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that. Do I think Gordon plays 90? Probably not. But he's returned enough in the Champions League so far, not playing 90 minutes. So yeah, Gordon would be my choice. Sofa score and 1 footballer showing Yildiz as striker. Why do you think McKennie is playing as 1? All the news outlets today, before the lineups were confirmed, were saying that McKennie will be playing at striker, potentially as a false 9 today. And then on the UEFA app, they've got McKennie at striker as well. I think it's unfortunate, with Sofa Score and 1 football, I feel like they never actually have good predicted lineups, or good lineups. You'll see the Liverpool lineup and they'll just stick Salah at centre mid, just because they've got no idea what's happening. Dembele isn't a confirmed start, no, but it looks likely to. Captaincy on Dembele still viable? 100% if you think he will start, yeah. I just think it's too much of a risk going against Mbappe. Hall, I don't think Hall's a worry for yellow cards. Is that maybe? Is that? Yeah. So that's kind of your reason for him. I mean, if you want to go for that, then go for that. I just think overall, you know, if you take yellow cards out of the equation, I think Chow and Burn are better options. If you think the yellow card means that much, then of course you can, you know, go for Hall. Why Vinicius? I just don't think there's that many good midfielders for this week. And Vinicius has, you know, big haul potential. He's on pretty decent form. Recently Real Madrid have been playing a 4-4-2, so he can play up front. So yeah, I don't think there's a lot of good midfielders at all this week. Realistically, out of that whole midfield, I wouldn't mind getting rid of Gordon, Lookman, you know, but the fact that they're playing Wednesday, I feel as though they have to be in there. So it's just kind of, I said this in the team selection, it's just kind of damage limitation with highly selected players, and just kind of covering my back with players that can haul big. Who'll have penalties for Juventus? It should be Yildiz. For anyone that's new, yeah, for anyone that's just came in, DeMarco doesn't look likely to be starting tomorrow. Have you seen the Mbappe bench rumours? I have not. I've only seen that he looks likely to start. With the, I think it was the Madrid. The Madrid predicted lineup looks to be the exact same as the weekend's match, but with Mbappe starting instead of Gonzalo Garcia. Bremer 17 versus Hanko 18 determines for you if you've got 3 defenders starting on the first day. I think if you want more defenders on the first day or attackers, so I don't think that's for me, M. Which is fine, of course. DeMarco's not injured, it's just rotation. Also, yeah, there's no way that Mbappe wouldn't start. Basically, he's got, what, 13 goals? He's 4 away from that Ronaldo record. I think he plays every single match. Club Brugge have conceded more goals than Atalanta. That's why I'm still confused between Guirassy and Alvarez. Guirassy's just on better form than Alvarez, and he's playing at home. That's my reasoning for that one. Which Inter players most nailed in defence this match day? I would have to say Bastoni. Hey Bobby, just came to the stream, so I haven't any answered, but why Guirassy over Osimhen? Because he's... I don't know, I've been saying this the whole time, I think it's very close between them both. You can see the projected goals as well with Dortmund are a little bit higher than what Galatasaray's are. But yeah, Guirassy just has a tendency to absolutely kill me in UCL fantasy. Anytime I have him, he doesn't do well. Anytime I don't have him, he scores a hat-trick. So I'm just kind of covering him off. I think he's got higher haul potential than Osimhen does. So yeah, I think it's very, very close. You know, if someone said to me that they preferred Osimhen over Guirassy, then I'd totally understand that. Yeah, I think I really don't see any changes coming for me. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Still 9-6 for the Tuesday players, which isn't ideal, but outside of Inter Milan, you know, I've got no Inter players anymore, but I'll probably look to break. That'll probably be my 2 transfers for next week, because we should get Inter lineups next week, which is ideal, because they play on Tuesday, and then obviously they're playing against Bodo at home. So my 2 transfers next week are probably going to be bringing in 2 Inter Milan players, and that'll probably end up being someone like Guirassy out for Lautaro, if he's obviously confirmed to be starting. And then what other? I don't know. You know, hopefully, if maybe someone gets a yellow card somewhere, then they can come out for an Inter player as well. Maybe even McKennie comes out for Çalhanoğlu, for example, if he's fit, or if DeMarco's confirmed to start. You know, we'll look to take one of these guys out for DeMarco. I think honestly the ideal situation probably is a Nuno Mendes booking, because he'll be playing on Wednesday next week. So if he gets booked, it's not going to be the end of the world. And then he can just be a direct swap for DeMarco if he is going to be playing. So that's kind of where I'm at with Matchday 10. This week, I just think with the Inter rotation and Bodo Glimt playing at home, there's just not really any Inter players that are looking too appealing, unfortunately, this week. Hi mate, 100th in the world. Is it crazy not to cap Kylian Mbappe? Surgeon, well done first of all, but 2, I think yes, especially in your position. Because if Mbappe doesn't do well, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're probably still going to keep your rank as long as the rest of your team does well. But if Mbappe does do well and you've not captained him, you're going to absolutely, you know, plummet down the ranks. Ben Sabeni looks like the penalty taker for Dortmund. Is that not interesting for you? It is, but I need Wednesday players, so they take priority right now. I don't want to take... I'm not going to take out, you know, Mendes or Hakimi on Tuesday for a Dortmund defender. So, yeah, sticking to the Wednesday players this week. Why Galatasaray keeper and not the Juventus keeper? He's also cheap. Purely because I don't trust Juventus at all. I know the clean sheet odds are better, but yeah, I don't see Juventus keeping a clean sheet. I don't see Real Madrid keeping a clean sheet. So yeah, I just decided to go for that home fixture in Kikir. If I had to pick between Kobel and Courtois, you've already got Ben Sabeni. I think you probably do just go for Courtois, because I think the double up of Dortmund is going to be a bit too much. McKennie and Dembele, or Martinez and Kvaratskhelia. I'd go for McKennie and Dembele. Guirassy or Dembele, I would... Oh, that's a good question. I would pick... Do you know, probably Dembele. Now, yeah, now probably Dembele. That is tough though, because obviously Dembele could get subbed quite early. Why not Ben Sabeni over Nuno, as Nuno will miss the next match if yellow this game? Is Ben Sabeni not in the exact same position? I could have sworn I've seen... Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so Ben Sabeni is also suspended if he gets yellow carded. Why Chow instead of Burn? Just ball recoveries and the fact he's nailed on. I know he's going to play. No news, Luis, unfortunately, regarding Newcastle. So it's just kind of you know, basing it off of what we've seen already. McKennie over Yildiz. It's just because McKennie's done well in recent games, and he is starting up front. Yildiz hasn't really been performing recently, and he is playing at left wing, so yeah. Bensebaini being on pens devalues Garassi, that's why I'm going Osimhen instead. I mean, I don't think it is guaranteed that Bensebaini is going to be on penalties though, like that seems to change all the time. What made you change from Bastoni to Hanko? Just for nailed onness really. The clean sheet odds are the exact same this week. I don't know if Bastoni is going to start next week. I know it looks like Lee's going to start this week, but I think, yeah. And obviously with Bodo Glimt, you know, having that, you know, good home records against a rotated Inter side, chat has convinced me to go for Hanko instead. Sommer or Pope, I already have Hall and Nin from Inter. I like the Newcastle double up. Zimon if you want to. But if you want to cover the Inter defence, then you know you can obviously go for Sommer. But I think if I was doubling up outside of PSG, then yeah, I think Newcastle's a safe pick. Garassi's pen record isn't too strong. Happy with open play screamers instead. I hope so, because I don't know if too many people are going to go for Garassi this week. I don't know if he could end up being a bit of a differential. So yeah, and I'm hoping I can actually catch one of his hauls, because he seems to haul every single time that I don't have him. Pavlidis or Osimhen? I would go for Osimhen, Enrique. The penalty taker for Juventus, it'll probably be Yildiz. Bissek has better goal potential than Hanko and nailed as well. I don't know if I would agree that Bissek is nailed though. Especially with all the plans for rotation from Inter. Lookman, McKennie or Kvara. I would go for McKennie, then Lookman, then Kvara. But I'd go for Kvara if you don't have Dembele. Pavlidis, low-key interesting. I think with Pavlidis, like, he could score against Real Madrid tonight, but you're not going to want him at all next week. You know, you want to at least be picking players that you're happy playing next week. I don't think you're really going to want to play, you know, use a striker spot on, you know, the Benfica striker playing away to Real Madrid in matchday 10. So I think I would avoid. I think you've got better chances elsewhere with players that you are going to want next week as well. Got 5 minutes to the deadline as well, guys. So if you haven't made your transfers, make sure to get locking them in, because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to forget. Guys, I've still got DeMarco questions. He looks likely to be benched, unfortunately. Otherwise, he would be straight in the team. Bastoni should be starting, yeah. Thuram or Guirassy? I mean, I've got Guirassy, but I like Thuram as an option as well. McKennie looks like he'll be playing striker, yeah. I don't think, like Martinez, it looks unlikely that he will start. But yeah, you can't really confirm that. You know, there's some news outlets saying that he's not going to, and some saying that he might. So I think there's just too much, you know, to think about with Inter. So I'm just gonna leave it to next week when we know more, and get the early lineups. John, best of luck. Thank you as well for coming. Sam, you as well. Team all set. Best of luck. I don't think Dembele's a crazy captain though. I can't remember where I had him. I can't remember where I had him in the captaincy video, but I know he was quite high up. The point about you won't want him next week should be shouted through a bullhorn to the Bournemouth player. Bournemouth peer, as Andy Martin is picking a Bodo Glimt striker for banter and engagement. He's a funny guy, Andy Martin. Joe, best of luck to you as well, mate. What have we got? 2 minutes, so if you haven't locked in, make sure to lock in now, or you could miss out. I don't mind Trent as a pick either, but I think, you know, if you're picking Trent, you could end, like, there's a good chance you end up with too many. What's the word I'm looking for? Tuesday players, because I think a lot of the good Tuesday players come and attack in midfield. So a lot of my Wednesday players are coming in defence. One minute to go. Augusto or Bastoni? I'd go Bastoni because I think Bastoni's more likely to play both games. Good luck and have fun watching Matchday 9 matches. Great stream as well always. Thank you, Venvac. Appreciate that. Best of luck for Matchday 9 to yourself as well. Ben Sabeni, he looks like a good option. I think, I don't mind him as a pick if you want to go for him. Less than a minute, so get it locked in if you do want to pick him up. Thank you, best of luck to you. You as well. Prats, good luck. 100 points incoming. I hope so. PS5 incoming for one of us. Let's see what else. Funny to see the reaction reading that comment. Best of luck. Best of luck as well, M. Kuka, best of luck. ACRC, best of luck. Hope you got that Ben Sabeni transfer in. It was very tight. Sparta, best of luck as well, mate. Deadline interrupted by an Anis Sarward advert. Yeah, nah, all the best. Vaneka over Lookman. They score 3 against Barca. I actually have seen a lot of... Wait, no. Who's playing Barca? Oh, no, yeah. Wait. Oh, you're talking about before. I understand now. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, I think that's us basically at the end now. I think the Juventus game's probably kicked off. Let's have a look. Are we going to get that early 2-minute goal? Who have I got in this game? I've only got Hanko, I think. Not Hanko. Oh no, I've got McKennie. I forgot about McKennie. I've got McKennie, I've got Kikir. So I've got the striker against the goalkeeper. That's great planning from me. Well, I'd rather obviously have McKennie. McKennie can score a hat-trick. Have we got the updated ownerships for these players? Is this updated properly yet? I think it might have. Yeah, it has updated. Wow. Right, okay. So here's our ownership. Can you see the ownerships? Oh, you can't see the ownerships? Hold on. Let me fix this. And we can quickly have a look at the ownerships. Oh. There we go. Right. So Mbappe's 73% owned now. Mendes, the second highest owned player in the game at 56. Vitinha at 45. I'm actually quite surprised to see Vitinha so highly owned. Who am I missing then? So Courtois at 25. Yildiz at 22. Still 19% of people going for DeMarco. I think this is updated. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure Hakimi was at 26% before the deadline. Have we got any price increases? I don't think so. Don't really know. What's the highest owned forward line for this week is Mbappe. Then it's Alvarez, and then it's Guirassy. Where's Dembele at? Only 6% have went for Dembele. We've got 7% of people going for Çalhanoğlu despite despite being injured and not in the squad. Only 7% going for Thuram, only 8% going for Lautaro. Still got 10% going for Chevalier, even though he hasn't started once in like the last 8 games. Bastoni still popular. 16% on Dumfries. Kind of tells you how many people aren't playing the game anymore. Alright, I feel like I'm pretty covered. The only thing that could kill me is if Yildiz does really well. So hopefully McKennie can provide the goods. And then obviously heading into the team for this week. See, look how nice those fixtures look now. Home fixtures all over the shop. And I think for me it'll probably end up being, if I cancel that, for me it'll probably, depending obviously on how the Inter team, like the predicted team looks, it'll probably end up being Lautaro coming in here. And then I'll maybe like a McKennie will come out and go for like a Çalhanoğlu as well, which will be something along those lines, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll have the 8-7 split, which is kind of what I want anyway. So that would be ideal. Alrighty, well, I think we are good to jump off now then. I think this game should still be 0-0, yep. Still 0-0 for Galatasaray and Juventus, so we better get all off and watching that. So thank you everyone that did come out to the stream. Another really good one, so thank you very much. I think we almost hit 500 viewers. I don't think we quite hit the big 500, but still absolutely amazing. These streams continue to do really well, so thank you to everyone that does come out to them. I'm going to hop off now, and yeah, I'll see you for Matchday 10, which will be next week's deadline stream on Tuesday. So thank you again for coming out, and I'll see you all next week.